Katie, thank you so much for being here with me. All of us are excited to hear what you have to share at NFT.London this upcoming November 3rd and 4th. I think you might have one of the coolest jobs in all of the metaverse. You're at this amazing, huge corporation that does so much for the global 2,000, the largest businesses in the world, 87,000 employees. We have 1,000 that are actively doing things right now, deploying things for metaverse developments for your clients. Not everybody knows who you are. Could you please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you're currently doing at Publicis?
Great. Well, Publicis, as you said, is one of the largest holding companies out there, and we support clients who are looking to run marketing and advertising campaigns across a variety of different channels. And of course, a lot of those clients are coming to us now asking about the metaverse and how they can use the metaverse as a way of reaching their clients, of creating new immersive consumer experiences. So you're right, I do have the coolest job in the world. I started back in January, and I kind of haven't looked back as far as just kind of waking up every day thinking I'm kind of in some kind of fantasy, but it's not always easy, but I've been leading the development of metaverse propositions with a global team of experts who are building our capability. And as you said, we sit at the center of an enablement function that supports 1,000 people globally who are working on metaverse activations with our customers already. And you may have seen some examples of the work that we've done so far. We started last year with some really big campaigns, and we did, for example, the 837X for the Samsung launch at the Consumer Electronics Show in January. But even before that, we were doing a number of campaigns, did an NFT drop with Macy's for the Macy's Day Parade. So, and we've just not stopped really since then. We have an enormous amount of work that we're doing with clients right now, and a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out over the next few months to announce. But I'm in the fortunate position it's in the center of all of that, helping to coordinate resource across our creative practices, our content business, our production studios, our data and tech business, and obviously I sit in media. And I get to help everybody sort of come together to create these amazing new things for customers. And I'm also responsible for all of our global partnerships with the metaverse experts that we work with to build technology, to create experiences, who are the leading people that are working in that space and leading creators, for example, or developers, where we are reaching out for the kind of industry leading capability in that space and building our own capability at the same time. We found some amazing people to work with, and it's just going gangbusters right now. So yeah, it's really great.
Well, it seems as though some of the projects that you already mentioned, so many people
I couldn't hear you for a second.
Oh, well, technology, sometimes it's for us, sometimes it can be a hurdle. You're going to be talking at NFT.London about the next wave of consumer engagement, experience, and loyalty. Can we have just some insights from you on these three areas that are what you and your team are talking with your clients about, right? So engagement with the customer, the experience the customer has, and the loyalty the customer then gives to your client. Can you walk us through that for a moment, please?
Yeah, I think the conversations that we're having with customers are pretty wide ranging. So that includes everything up to Web3, but also making sure that our customers have foundational knowledge of things like AR commerce and how they can use extended reality, today in a variety of the sort of channels that they already operate in and they're familiar with, as well as, taking them all the way through to that journey of understanding what it's going to take to be really successful in Web3. So if they're building a retail shop in Decentraland, or they're creating an experience or a game, thinking about why they're doing that. What's the strategy behind it? How does it connect with their kind of real world or the rest of their digital strategy? And so what we're really trying to help our clients to think about the metaverse being a key tool for is kind of really immersive storytelling, engaging sort of journeys that they can take customers on that are completely different than what they could have done before in kind of Web 2 and even Web 2.5 formats, and really thinking about how to maximize and optimize their use of those different new technologies, but also making sure that the consumer journey is really smooth and really seamless, especially for people who are kind of less familiar with some of the concepts of Web3. So it's a little bit of everything right now. Like some of our customers are much more mature. They've already done some NFT drops. They've already done some Roblox or Fortnite deployments. Or they're kind of already talking with, Meta Horizon World, sort of thinking about that sort of space. But a lot of them are much less mature in their sort of thinking, or less far along in their thinking about how to make the most of the Web3 spaces, where there aren't always like really huge volumes of audiences at the moment. And so we're helping them also think through the strategy of how to get people there, to give people a reason to be there, to give people a reason to stay there and engage with it regularly as well. And we're also talking and working with the platforms on that subject as well, to make sure that we're building kind of holistic experiences and journeys for people, and that also link through to commerce propositions as well. Sort of, the marketing journey sometimes and often ends in commerce, getting people to buy something. So, helping people to understand that virtual to in real life commerce journey, and like what phygitals mean and how those are all going to fit into consumer behavior going forward. So it's a wide gamut at the moment. I get pretty much every kind of inquiry at the top of the funnel at the moment. And then I work with all of our great teams across the business to make it happen.
Thank you for that insight. I am wondering on some practical things for publicists, and I'm not sure if you want to clarify. You're the managing director at Futurescapes, PMX Global. Maybe for the audience watching, if you're watching, thanks for your attention. If you watch this another time, glad you found it. For these folks, they may not understand how Publicis works specific. So if you want to give some context for that, they wanted to ask some specific things about your clients and how you engage with them in terms of what people could expect if they were to reach out to a biz dev person at your company and ask for support with their project.
Right. So I lead an area called Futurescapes, as you said. I'm managing director. I was hired back in January, and it's a new area of the business, deliberately built to create and to innovate around new and emerging data and technology propositions. And that was a pretty wide remit when I started. I could have kind of gone anywhere with it, but because we were getting so many inquiries and so much interest from our clients around the metaverse, and we've already been working on building a metaverse practice over the course of the previous 12 or 18 months before I joined, we decided that my time should really kind of focus on looking at, as I've kind of been describing, looking at how we can bring the full resources of the business to bear across Publicis, and not just within the region that I sit in. I actually sit in London, but I work globally across a number of different teams that service global clients, and some of the clients operate regionally, some of them operate globally. So we have a mixture of capability that's sort of based in lots of places around the world, and with end-to-end activation capability to kind of do everything for clients if they need that. Some clients are somewhat self-sufficient in certain areas, and some of them are looking for support in others. So I guess in terms of how we engage customers initially, if they are customers who are completely new to the metaverse, are kind of totally unfamiliar with the concepts and the terms and the different platforms, we usually start the process with a bit of education. So we have an incubator process that starts out with a few weeks of getting to grips with kind of where they're at in terms of their understanding, making sure that we're filling in any sort of gaps that they might have there, so that everyone in the room has the same sort of level of knowledge that is going to be foundational for them starting to make some decisions about how do they want to use the metaverse, how do they want to play here, how is that going to link with the rest of their strategy, what kind of budgets do they have to do things, who are they trying to reach, etc. So we then elicit that kind of detail over the course of the next few weeks, and working with them. And it's a very similar process to kind of strategy and planning that we might do in kind of other advertising and marketing contexts, but we have a process that's specifically designed for the metaverse, whether that's people looking at Web 2, 2.5, or Web 3 versions of the metaverse that they're looking to engage with. And at the end of that, we are able to kind of develop and deliver a kind of plan for them, and we also kind of have an idea of the kinds of things that they're going to need to do next, and who they're going to need to engage with potentially in terms of the teams within Publicis or within some of our partners to deliver what they're envisioning doing. And that's usually how we get started, when it's just the sort of beginning, like very beginning, we start with a blank sheet of paper kind of conversation. But as I said, there are some customers that are more advanced. They've tried some things out already, and they come to us with a very specific idea that they want us to help them realize. So we might start kind of somewhere else in that process, but usually, we've got capability to do things in all kinds of different formats and different mediums, et cetera. So we try and sort of go at the pace that our customers have kind of evidenced to us when they kind of make a request. And yeah, it's lots of interesting stuff coming out of it.
And does your team have flexibility to engage with a client with what they think is best for them? For instance, there's kind of the full service model, there's the hybrid model, and there's the consulting model, right? We'll do it for you. Let's do it together. We'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
Do all those ring true for your client engagements?
Yeah, they do. Different clients all have different sort of shapes and sizes of ways they would like to work together, what support they need, and the kinds of things that they want to have us take the lead on and support them with. And some clients, as I was kind of alluding to, can be very self-sufficient in quite a lot of things, and they've already been dabbling in this area. They might have already established very large teams of metaverse experts internally, and other clients kind of have the complete opposite. So it really depends on what the scenario is, how far along they are with their strategy, what kind of investment they've made internally, and also what their kind of data and technology setup is, because there are a lot of data and technology implications, as you can imagine, for companies who are kind of coming at it from a traditional point of view of having their established sort of owned media sort of approaches and paid media approaches, and the way that they've been using the existing MarTech and AdTech ecosystem. And then, this is a completely new kind of territory for them to understand. So that's a lot of the work that we do with customers, even if from a kind of creative and strategic point of view, they thought through some things they want to do with the metaverse. Oftentimes we're getting pulled into those sort of more technology and infrastructure or architecture kinds of conversations as well.
It sounds like you have the human capital and then the tech stacks available to really meet the clients where they're at, as long as they're a good fit for Publicis. As I want to be sensitive to time, it's already 19:30 over in London. Thank you for joining me late for you, earlier for me.
No problem.
Maybe as we wrap, can you give me an idea? Do clients come to you with ideas right now that are too big? Does your team ever or often say, whoa, that's like 20 years out, or let's focus on what we can just accomplish right now? Like, we have no idea if that's, or are people coming with practical, tangible desires to go to market with things? Is it all over the place? And my big question is, in your opinion, as an executive leading the charge for so many organizations, are there ideas that are too big? And should people narrow down to what they can do? Or are you trying to fan the flame of, dreams and vision and ideation? And is that part of your role in the relationship you have with your clients?
Yeah, well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head a little bit. Like, I'm naturally inclined to be a bit of an innovator and a dreamer, and it's the type of person that likes to figure out problems. So I would never say to a client, absolutely that's possible, when I know it's well out of the range of what's currently possible. But what I and Publicis do generally is we try to be very transparent with clients when they come to us with an idea that where there might be some significant technical challenge, some more investment that they need to make in order to make that happen. Give them some pros and cons of different approaches that they could take, where they might do a slightly scaled down version of that and be able to do it faster and with less investment. So we take a very consultative approach with our customers, and if a client wants to do something big and amazing, what we try to do is build out a roadmap with them, to work with them to get there. But also to work with them on the incremental steps of things that they should be doing in the meantime, to not just only work towards this enormous goal, but also have a broader and a well-integrated strategy around leveraging the metaverse generally. Because if you just build towards kind of some enormous mountain in 5 years' time, a lot of things will have changed in that time as well. And like, what your vision was at the beginning may be very different. So I think it's really important to stay agile, to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you right now, and to test and learn as you're going along, but to build up to that kind of big, aha moment of, this is the new amazing crazy vision that somebody has that is going to change the world. And I want to be part of that project too, but I also want to help customers sort of understand and work on the steps along the way.
Well, I love that approach. As we wrap, anything you'd like to say to the NFT community that's in London? Your organization, you have your office in London. We're bringing our event that has had a great success in bringing the community together to London. But you're there, like, you understand some of the dynamics of the community separate from an event. And so as we kind of put this conversation to a close, anything you'd like to say to your friends that are based there geographically?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who is based here or does business here in any way, they'll know that there's a really fantastic, rich tech community, whether that's, fintech, whether that's people who are blockchain leaders, people like we have kind of the equivalent of Silicon Valley in London as well. And, I think I think a lot of the people who are already here know that there's a fantastic community of people around them that I'd encourage them to kind of reach out to, network with, continue to build and create amazing stuff that you're already making. There's so many like amazing ideas. I meet new companies all the time that come to me with just like superbly thought through propositions. And part of the stuff that I find most fun to do is to kind of put that together into something, like put a few things together into something that's a great new proposition for our customers. So I'd encourage anyone to certainly reach out to me, because I'm the partnerships person for all of our metaverse stuff, and I'd be very keen to talk to anyone that has great ideas. But I'd also encourage just people coming to London and meeting all those fantastic minds and people who are very creative and techie, that are kind of leading this space, to come together and just keep creating really amazing stuff, because this space is changing every day. It's really cool. Everything I learn every day and new people I meet just blows my mind. And the most important thing I think will be to make that consumer journey as straightforward as possible, to get as many people into this space as possible next. So starting to think about the average consumer, the person who doesn't understand maybe about wallets and NFTs, and how the brilliant people that are already working on this can just make that a little bit easier for them. That's going to really unlock things and bring everyone into this space and make it what we all envision it to be, I think.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for coming on to share with me. I always enjoy learning from you and your peers, and I imagine those that tuned in did as well. So for anybody that got a chance to jump in and watch our conversation, if you're not already planning to attend NFT London, come join us November 3rd and 4th. Katie and amazing, brilliant people like her will be there with us. And until next time, everybody,